Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. I have some warnings for all of you who are invested in XRP and the S&P 500. Get ready, I have some warnings. Trump style.
Good morning,
we'll
good afternoon, good evening.
We'll also talk about
Lucas
the
Investor.
deal in China, peace in Ukraine, Indian ceasefire, futures, and Bitcoin, 150,001. Let's talk all about that now, reflect on the markets, what comes next, where do we go next, and are we about to get a crash to surprise everyone? There was blood on the streets and everyone said buy. Did you buy the bottom or did you buy on the way up in confusion? Inflation. We get the most important number tomorrow, the preferred metric by the Fed. Is the trade war really over or just beginning? Is the Fed about to turn on the money printer with a surprise rate cut, an emergency rate cut? I'm going to bring all that news to you right now. Get ready. We'll be talking about all of this live on the show. Of course, we'll refer to our favorite crypto asset, XRP. But we must also talk about Bitcoin as well. All that's coming up on today's show. Sit back, relax. Have we done a deal with China or have we not? Or are we about to be surprised once again? Stand by, let's get ready, and let's talk about it live on the show. The economy, is it really as strong as we think it is? Yep, I know. XRP, when's it going to break out? Will it ever break out? Well, we've got the numbers, we've got the facts, and we're going to bring it to you live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the show. It's wonderful to be here. My name is Martyn Lucas, and I want to start by, first of all, saying thank you to everyone today who sent me well wishes, whether it be through comments on YouTube, X, Instagram, DMs, wherever it was. I was overwhelmed by all the comments of good wishes. I'd like to thank you all very much for that, sincerely. Unfortunately, for the first time ever, I won't be able to respond to all of the comments. I was overwhelmed with many thousands across all the different social media platforms. I have managed to tap a like on most of them, but unfortunately, I'm not able to reply to all of them. I won't ever go on air again if I did spend the time doing that. So thanks to all of you who sent me good wishes this morning. I really do appreciate it. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, this morning I was taken to the doctors by Leah because I was having severe heart pains and stresses in my chest. And I've got to do things a little bit differently going forward. The good news is I wasn't having a heart attack, which most people assume was probably the case. But I am experiencing extreme levels of pressure, of stress. I'm committed to this job, committed to the Lucasades, and live 12 hours a day for 4 years does take some pressure on you. And I was about to take a holiday, but we've just put back the holiday until October, because I want to see the markets recover. I also want to go through the 100,000 subscribers with you live on the show. And there is much work still to be done developing with our new broadcasters, Vaz and Sensei. So I'm taking my holiday later in the year, but I am going to be taking it a bit easier. And Leah's got me on strict instructions that I'm only doing a 1 hour show today, not 12 hours or something ridiculous. So that's part of the problem. All right. So thank you all for your thoughts. I very much appreciate it. But let's get straight into the warnings. Now, from time to time, I like to reset my strategies I like to go and talk to people that know what they're talking about. And this afternoon, I met with Big Ed. Big Ed, you know, is one of those investors who bought Apple at the beginning. I only found that out today. I thought it was just in fact Amazon, but it was actually Apple and Google and a few others. He never bought Meta. And from time to time, I like to meet with people that have their fingers on the pulses and people that are very, very well connected. And I got some interesting information today I wanted to share with you all that should alarm you a little bit. We do have some concerns here that the market could take a surprise crash, and it could be bigger than the first one. A lot of stock manipulation at the moment. The market was driven down through the tariffs and then rapidly came up very, very quickly. Now, if you've understood anything about the stock market, you'll appreciate that the stock market, they use the phrase down the stairs and up down the elevator and up the stairs. So it goes down really quickly and it slowly comes up. This time it was the reverse, and that's nice, but there's dangers with that. There's a lot of overbuying now and FOMO and people overpaying for everything. Palantir is one of those. But along with those, it does draw in some short squeezes and some opportunities, and I'll talk about those in a second. But we do have some concerns, Again, if you didn't chase, the message was don't chase. We asked you not to chase. I didn't chase. And for that reason, I'm very, very happy because I bought the very bottom, but I'm not going to be, I didn't buy on the way up and I won't be buying anymore. And I'm now paying down margin because remember what I said at the beginning of the year? It's a 10% year. If you bought the 20%, 25% drop from peak to trough, then you're okay. You'll have a 35% year. It'll be a glorious year. But it's only a regular year, only a regular standard 10% year from beginning to end. So if you didn't get caught out on the drop and you didn't buy on the way back up again, you're okay. If you bought the bottom, you're okay. But to just bear that in mind, there is evidence to suggest that there are forces at work that are trying to drive everything down and do everything they can to reverse what Donald Trump has just done. There is that at play right now. Now, let me give you a few headlines for you that I just want to bring to your attention. So let's ask everyone to tap the like button, shall we? If you wouldn't mind, it'd be absolutely wonderful if you could all tap the like button and share this message out, and consider subscribing if you've not yet subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much indeed. All right, let's get straight into this news then. So, first of all, I've got here for you, the US economy must absorb tariffs, substantially impacting growth. Now, if you're an investor, and you are an investor, not a gambler or a momentum trader, the only way investing works if you buy something undervalued, which is going to be worth more in the future. So if you overpay for something, ultimately, you might make money, but you'll have to wait a long time, because remember how the stock market works. Shares go up because money is devalued. So the value of the shares go up. That's why we always say be invested, not having money in the bank. It serves no purpose and it gets devalued if it's in the bank. So you want to make sure that you are buying at the best price possible, not on the way up, not during FOMO. And we definitely have FOMO now. If you look here on the index, I said to you yesterday, we would touch extreme greed around here. Just a smidge away. I was actually just about here. We're not quite there, because this is not just about the stock market going up. There are many metrics which make this needle move. And I predicted we'd be about here, just another couple of millimeters to the right. We're nearly there, but that's what I predicted, and I said where we're going. So we're not all out extreme greed yet. Extreme greed. There could be a little bit more, but to go upwards. But you should definitely not be buying right now. Okay. So if you are an investor, not a gambler, you'll understand that you have to buy value so your stock can grow, thereby return a profit to you, right? Well, this is the problem. We have to absorb the tariffs, so there's no room for growth, impacting growth. T.S. Lombard economists are sounding the alarm bells about the current market rally, urging investors to exercise caution despite apparent market optimism. Now, if you bought when I did, and if you were already in at the beginning of the year, none of this will affect you at all. None of it. However, if you did buy into the rally, you could be in trouble. And depending on your margin position and your allocation will depend on how bad that could be for you. The US economy faces significant headwinds as it must absorb a 10% baseline. Now, you need to understand this. Even though we slapped on all these crazy tariffs, 140% and so on and so forth, and they might be rowed back, and they probably will, there'll still be the baseline 10% tariffs. Now, this is where getting news from connected friends comes in, and why I'm sharing this with you today. Because the 10% baseline tariff news is being overshadowed at the moment, and people aren't paying attention to it. Because everyone feels they're getting something for nothing now. The markets seem to be very attractive. It's a bit like when you put a frog in a beaker of water and you warm him up slowly. He gets used to it before you boil him to death. So if we give everybody these insane tariffs and then we roll them back, everyone feels comfortable with 10%. You shouldn't do. You shouldn't be. The consumer will be paying for it. So this is now starting to come into focus. People are starting to realize, actually, hang on a minute. We were all excited about them being rowed back, but actually they're not being rowed back. They're 10% up. They weren't there before. Now, you can argue the good and the bad for the reasons why we do all these things. However, does it encourage growth? Well, that's the question right now. With higher tariffs from China, which could substantially impact economic growth, said Freya Beamish, chief economist at T.S. Lombard. These factors have significantly cut the projected GDP growth outlook for 2025 to 1.5, she added. This presents a marked decrease from the 2.5 growth. Now, everyone is focusing on inflation being transitory. In other words, a one-time payment. We jump to here, and then we're just the regular 2% growth of inflation. So there's no ongoing inflation with this, and that's absolutely correct. But because of the 140%, because of the 140% that was slapped on, no one's really paying attention to the 10% and regarding it as an okay thing. Well, it's an okay thing if you bought the bottom and you don't require growth. Like I said, this year is a 10% year. If you're buying now, and many are starting to use margin to buy now on the way up, is it worth it? I would say not. Furthermore, the pandemic era wealth shock that temporarily disconnected income from consumption patterns is now diminishing in effect. Income growth continues to slow, while consumer uncertainty may dampen confidence in spending accumulated savings, she warned. This combination of factors could signal an important economic turning point in consumer behavior. Now, up to this point, the consumer has been spending and looking really good. Everyone's spending, and it looks like the economy is doing well because America is spending. But things might change, and they will change. And I've said they'll change. And I've said it's only a 10% year. So be careful. We're going to come on to XRP and crypto in a moment. Corporate profits have largely remained resilient thus far, but T.S. Lombard economists predict mounting pressure ahead. Beamish noted that some degree of profit squeeze is expected and will likely result in slowing employment growth across sectors. This deployment could potentially trigger a ripple effect throughout the broader economy as businesses adjust to changing conditions. This is not a matter of time. This is not a matter of if. This is a matter of when this happens. Also, the Federal Reserve is currently adopting a cautious stance, and this is why the Fed aren't rushing to cut rates. We will get a rate cut, and we'll get two. Those that are predicting 4 and 5 have baked in a 4 and 5. The market has already rallied on that. Later in the year, when we actually get 2, which is what I said, and I've been saying for a year, it'll be 2. What will that do? That will bring the market back down again and sell off. I repeat, you do not want to be buying now. Now, there are those on YouTube who are telling you that everything is amazing, we should be buying and everything's great, everything's going up forever. Rubbish. There are those like Meet Kevin, by the way, who's got 2 million subscribers, who had a smaller audience than me yesterday, by the way. I looked at that, I was like, wow, I've got a bigger audience than Meet Kevin with 2 million. The reason for that is he always says it's going to go down the toilet. And that's rubbish as well. These things sell videos. However, investors are getting smarter, and the biggest YouTubers on the planet are starting to realize it doesn't work selling nonsense. What works is just simply providing value and telling people the truth. They don't want to promote your YouTube channel. They want to make money for themselves. Yes, they support you and send me today wonderful get well messages, and I appreciate it. But you're not here for the benefit of my health. As much as I appreciate the support, you're here because you want value, service. You invest time and you want information that helps you. Not just some nonsense that makes me money on YouTube. People forget that. Anyway, this is why the FOMC and the Fed have been taking their time. This is why we're only going to get 2 rate cuts. Also, the Federal Reserve is cautiously adopting a cautious stance regarding the impact of tariffs, while monetary policymakers remain in a wait-and-see mode. Visible deterioration in the labour market will be necessary before the FOMC seriously considers implementing rate cuts. Now, you need to understand, and Donald Trump does understand this, but he likes dropping the market to pump the market, to drop the market, to pump the market. Remember, every time that happens, a lot of people, not you, a lot of people make money. You make money if you buy the bottom, like I did, and hold and don't buy on the way up. But if you get dragged into the whole circus, then you'll lose money, 100% guaranteed. Remember, the dual mandate of the Fed is to control inflation, but also to stabilize employment. Both things, and they are both at each end of the spectrum. This cautious approach may extend the timeline for monetary policy adjustments despite emerging economic challenges. In other words, they might be forced to wait. Well, they will be. I've said 2 rate cuts. You're going to get 2 rate cuts. However, it's priced in at least 4, if not 5. This recent rally has been wonderful to watch. I've made over $65,000 since the bottom, since the trough to the peak to the trough. Wonderful, because I bought on the way down and now I'm paying down my margin. I've got enough invested. You've got to wait. Why do you think Jerome Powell is still waiting to buy? Lastly, hyper-globalization has dramatically shifted income distribution in the US, creating political pressure that will likely persist, according to T.S. Lombard economists. Even though the worst of the negative supply shock from tariffs has been avoided up to now, global corporations will be considering whether cheaper foreign labour is worth the risk, particularly given the fresh instability in the darling FDI destination, India. Okay, that was the first part I wanted to share with you. There's a bit more, and before I bring you on to the next part, I'd like to once again invite you to tap the like button. It'd be really helpful if you did, and if you'd like to consider subscribing once again. Now, for those of you who just tuned in, please rewind to the beginning. I gave you all my bulletins of what I'm covering today, plus I thanked everyone and updated you on my heart condition and my health issues and so on and so forth. So please rewind to the beginning. I don't want to repeat that again. I want to value everybody's time. Let's come on to the next section. Tariffs set to impact next CPI. Now then, this is important. We had a good CPI yesterday, but now we've got more tomorrow. This is going to be the highlight of tomorrow's show. This is what's happening tomorrow. This can change everything. Now, up to this point, we're talking about the producers' prices, inflation tomorrow. This is the Fed's preferred metric. So we're going to get that in the morning. I'm going to open with it, and it's going to be a very important morning. Up to this point, I have said to you, tariffs will not affect our positions, and they haven't. But that time has come and gone. We are now in a different time. Now they will affect. They've rolled over now. It's time for them to start adding up and being involved in the numbers. So look out tomorrow. If we get PPI accelerate, the market will go down faster than it went up. People will look for opportunity. Wall Street is looking for an opportunity right now. I've just had a meeting with some big guys, and I've got the flavor of the room, and Wall Street is looking for an opportunity to dump. And when that happens, everybody else dumps. Just a buyback maybe, but you could be left behind. So consider that. This is in the morning. US factory gate prices unexpectedly decreased 0.4 month over month in March. No, it wasn't. It wasn't unexpected at all. Tariffs had not impacted thus far. So I was happy. I said you can buy. I said I'm happy. We're not going to get an inflation. That was a couple of days ago. Those numbers are not tomorrow's numbers. Month over month in March, the first decline in PPI since October 23, following a 0.1 rise in February and compared to forecasts of a 0.3 increase. Wonderful. The markets rallied. I made that prediction. It did what I said it would do. No surprise. I bought the dip. I was happy. Great. Wonderful. I was right again. Prices of goods went down 0.9, also the biggest drop since October 2023. Great. Mainly due an 11% plunge in gasoline prices were also lower for chicken eggs. We've heard Donald Trump talking about eggs every day as if it's the most important thing in the world. My argument is just don't buy eggs if they're too expensive. I'm just saying, surely there's something else to eat. Anyway, beef and veal, fresh and dry vegetables, diesel fuel and jet fuel also moved lower. Also, services cost dropped 0.2, the largest decline since July 2024, led by a 1.3 drop in machinery vehicle wholesaling. Cost of airline passenger services, food, retailing, apparel, jewelry, footwear, and accessories, retailing, automobiles, retailing, partial, and guest room rental also moved lower. Meanwhile, core producer prices edged 0.1 below forecast of a 0.3 rise. Year on year, producer prices increased 2.7 in the last 6 months compared to forecasts of 3.3. The annual core rate also slowed to 3.3 from 3.5. Lovely. We like all of that. But that's not what's coming tomorrow. Things are about to change again. So I wanted to share that with you. Now, I don't know what the numbers are going to be, but I know I'm not buying right now. I'd be more cautious right now. My next part, as we come on to XRP as well. Here is the like button. Please consider tapping the like button and consider subscribing and rewind to the beginning of the video if you want to have my full breakdown of this video, live stream, and an update on my heart health conditions. Thank you very much. Move on to this story. Now then, tariffs set to impact next CPI data. That's in the morning. I've already said that. Morgan Stanley, once again, they're behind me. Is it because I know more than they do? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do, yes, because some people don't want to see what's right in front of them. Some people have their own agenda. They're trying to sell their funds to their clients. People on CNBC and Bloomberg are trying to peddle the most dramatic statements. Big YouTubers online with millions of subscribers either want to go buy everything or sell everything. Very few people want to tell you the truth because the truth doesn't sell videos. However, I have a different outlook. I'm here to serve my members. So now we're getting this news. And this isn't new to me. This is why I stopped buying. This is why I issued a warning. However, this is the reality of tomorrow morning. Tariffs set to impact next CPI. That's in the morning. Tariff effects will significantly impact consumer price index, according to Ellen Zentner, chief US economist at Morgan Stanley. During an interview with CNBC, Zentner explained that these trade prices are already influencing key economic indicators and creating market uncertainty. Remember, markets are all about sentiment. If they don't know what's happening next, they sell. Simple. They don't take chances. If there's any reason to sell, they sell because they can always buy back again. They don't. Wall Street are not investors. Wall Street are traders. So get ready for some volatility. She noted that the economy is expecting to slow considerably this year. So as I say, and I say again, a 10% year this year is what we're going to get. I keep saying it. My messages don't change. My predictions don't change. And this is why my predictions are accurate, because they are predictions. They are not something I change 1 minute to the next to sell videos or sell stories. 2 rate cuts this year, 10% from the beginning to the end. 100%. No question about it. So, considerable growth, considerable slowdown this year, potentially dropping approximately 1%. Now, if you do your calculations, if we drop 1%, this, in fact, 10% would be a good year. It could be less. So you definitely don't want to be buying now, because we're now back to where we were after Trump crashed the market. We're back to where we were on Liberation Day. You got your 25%, be happy, wonderful stuff, parabolic upswing. Now you stop. At least you should have done. You should have stopped buying at the bottom, but we'll see. Many people have been buying on the way up. How ridiculous was that? She noted that the economy is expected to slow considerably this year, potentially dropping to approximately 1% growth. This number doesn't matter because the tariff effects are going to really start to show up in the next month's number. Zentner stated when discussing current inflation figures. While recent core inflation has remained relatively stable, it has, the anticipated tariff impact could substantially change the economic landscape. This shifting context creates a complicated decision environment for the Federal Reserve as it evaluates potential rate adjustments. Like I said, they have a dual mandate, protecting employment and protecting inflation. They're both at the end, they're both opposites, but they're both important. So there's a balance. Trump cares about nothing else than bringing down inflation. That is the number one goal for any president. The killer for any president is inflation. If Trump can get inflation down, that is a major win for him. However, you can't do it at any price. Everything has a price. Though an immediate rate cut seems unlikely, slowing growth and expected labour market changes might facilitate a reduction later this year. Again, 2 rate cuts, not the 4 that everybody keeps spouting on about, or more importantly, that is priced in. It's going to be easier for this Fed to go ahead and cut, but not right now. Zentner noted regarding the timing of a potential Federal Reserve action. Roger Ferguson, former Federal Reserve Vice Chair, offered additional perspective on rate cut considerations. Emphasizing the importance of inflationary trajectory, I think the rationale for cutting is where we are highly confident that inflation is continuing to come down. Ferguson said in the same CNBC interview, suggesting current inflation rates don't yet support immediate action. So, add all this together, and the answer is you should not be buying at all. This is the question that people are asking at the moment. Who won the latest round of the US-China trade war? Well, I'm not going to read this because it's pointless. The answer is nobody knows. So why read it? I try to bring you valuable information and value every moment and every second I'm with you because my time is valuable, your time is valuable, and reading a lot of waffle of what people might think or don't think is a complete bloody waste of time. I'm interested in providing information that can help you make money and win. I've traded 25 times. I've won 25 times. I've made my predictions. I've been right every single time. And I don't intend on getting margin called or losing any money. And I don't want anyone else to either. So, going to wrap this up now with my XRP finale. I talked about it at the beginning and said I would mention XRP at the end. So for that, I'll go over to here. And not right now. Don't need that. Thank you very much. XRP. Now then, we've been following Sensei the last few days, who's been talking about XRP a lot, expecting a breakout. Well, it did go through the resistance of 260 and then fell back down again. Some people are frustrated and they are selling out, giving up again. And I want to just finish with this. Those that are in XRP now, the fact that we are on the dawn of something amazing, where I believe that, in fact, I don't believe at all. I know because tomorrow Coinbase enter the S&P 500, Ripple will join them, and in a few years from now, you'll see Coinbase and Ripple, mark my words, at the top of the S&P 500. The new Mag 7 will be crypto, and you'll see the US economy, or whoever adopts this first, but it is the US economy, accelerate way more than you could ever imagine. That time is coming. And anyone who sells out on XRP right now shouldn't even be in it. They don't deserve to be in it, and they don't understand what they actually own. A few weeks ago, we reported the live crypto summit from the White House hosted by the president. And just before the summit went live, we heard from the CFO, Chief Financial Officer of Ripple, who said on X, we reserve the right to release all the XRP whenever we choose to do so and sell it or do what we want. What that tells you, and what we tried to explain live on the show, was the fact that they don't care about the price of XRP. And that might scare you because Brad and the CFO don't care about the price of XRP. No. I very, very much doubt it. In fact, I'm extremely confident of that fact. Now, why is that? Because they're not interested in just traders trading their native coin. Serves no purpose to them whatsoever. They are looking at something bigger. And the people I spoke to today could see that. The connections and the people I sat down with dinner today with can see that. They are, like me and Brad and anyone else, we covered it yesterday, from the SEC. When I gave you those shorts, you've all seen them by now. They're now going viral on YouTube. Those shorts. Members of the SEC were saying extremely bullish about the state of XRP. Well, not so much XRP, but crypto. They never mentioned XRP. They couldn't do that, of course. But crypto. They are looking at the future with the way it can work in line with or replace SWIFT. And that could make it in the top 10, top 1 or 2, in fact, really, of the S&P 500. So if you're selling XRP now for 250 because you didn't like it at 260 or 240, you shouldn't even be buying it. It serves no purpose. Shouldn't even be doing it. And those that run it and understand it are way, 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 way above you. They're not scratching around trying to trade XRP for 10 cents here and 10 cents there. They're looking at the bigger objective of where it's actually going. And where it's actually going, we can't even price right now. We can give an educated guess, and this is an educated guess of $10. We can also see a path to $100. Not because we just make up stupid headlines on YouTube, making stupid cases. We say it because it's simply a fact based upon numbers. And I want to just draw your attention to something I discovered last night, which kind of sums up the XRP crypto space. We are not, and we will never be, a crypto channel. I am purely an investor and I'm an entertainer. That's it. I'm not going to put any fancy titles on it. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm the World Piano Man, simply broadcasting on YouTube TV, my investment strategies, and I'm hoping to entertain and educate. That's it. I'm not a crypto channel. I'm just me, Martyn Lucas, sharing my ideas. This is my trades, sharing real information, real contacts, real facts. It is what it is. If you like it, you do. You don't, you don't. I'm not going to say what you want to hear just to promote something. And isn't it ironic that a channel has that mantra and that directive, and yet yesterday I checked and we were number 3 in the world in incognito for the search term XRP. Not XRP Martyn Lucas, XRP Martin, XRP Sensei, XRP, boom. Incognito yesterday on YouTube, we were number 3 in the world. We've been number 1 a couple of times. Isn't that crazy? And there's channels with millions of subscribers. Why? Because we also rank at the same time, very often, number 1 on YouTube. Sorry, on Google. Our 60 Minutes broadcast was bigger than 60 Minutes. Now, why is that important? Because you want to know what's actually going on, not some stupid YouTuber telling you it's going to go to $1 million to sell them ad revenue so they can buy more of the stuff. It's rubbish. Why would you spend no time doing that? So it's quite ironic, really, that a channel that's not even a crypto channel ranks higher than a crypto channel for the biggest crypto asset now arguably in the world. Mental, right? Sensei said to me last night, he said he couldn't believe it. He said, I'm so proud of what you've achieved. He said, I'm the XRP man, and yet your channel ranks number 1 in the world half the time. I said, amazing, isn't it? Anyway, there you go. So XRP, Ripple, the network, is way bigger than trading in and out for pennies on this native coin. There'll be ups and downs of this, but if you can't buy any speculative asset, least of all XRP, arguably the best of all the crypto, if you cannot live with 50% drops, you shouldn't be buying it. Because it's speculative. It has no underlying value, the coin itself. The network does, the banks do, the institutions do, Ripple does. It makes money from the transactions. You owning the coin doesn't earn you any money, does it? Just the face value. So if you can't live with 50%, you shouldn't be buying it. You can't. You simply can't. It's the same as if you buy the S&P 500. If you buy the S&P 500, you shouldn't be buying it unless you can comfortably live with 15% drops. If you can buy it and hold it. All right? I'm just being sent a message here. I'm just being sent a message that of something I might want to share on the show. So let me just bring this up for a moment. I'm just being sent something from Sensei. Aha. Okay. Right. Thank you very, very much indeed. Sensei has just sent me something very, very apt, very, very relative, very, very important. When did this come out? This is just out. This is just out. Thank you, Sensei, for sending me this. And this is exactly what I've just been saying. Exactly what I've just been saying. So, stand by. Here this comes. Should I put this into a video for you guys, or should I put this into a video, or should I just? I'm going to make a video out of it, but you're all going to see it live. And stand by for my post that you've seen, 0 day for XRP. Understand what that means? You soon will do. Okay, so thank you for that, Sensei. Very, very nice. 16:08 is the time. This will be a video later. You're going to see me make it. Okay. I'll make this now. Let me do this now then. Just going to make this for you live on air. Just got to reload this a couple of times. Here's some information just being sent in to me. So I'm going to make a video. So you'll see me make the video. Okay, let's bring that up there. Okay, marvelous. Okay. Cheers, everybody. Okay. Thank you, Sensei. Appreciate it. XRP Ripple. Very, very important. Any day now, you're going to see me present something called 0 day for XRP. Yesterday, we showed you some information directly from the SEC. Those that are on the board of the SEC saying things that changed everything. 0 day. I'll explain more of that in an upcoming video. But I've told you that I would enter XRP and crypto when it matured. When it stopped appearing on silly, stupid YouTube channels with backward baseball cap wearing buffoons who do nothing more than try to catch a trend of people that are greedy and want to make money. It's a human instinct been tapped into by those with no idea what the hell they're talking about. And they'll do anything they can to sell stupid videos to make stupid money for their stupid selves. Did I say stupid enough? I hope I did. I always said to you that crypto was way better than that. It was something far more useful than that. And it was never about scratching around a few pennies under the table, trading in and out. You might make some money. You might get rich. Most of you won't. 95% of day traders lose money. That's just a statistical fact. However, I said to you, what interests me is when it speaks my language. It doesn't speak my language when people talk nonsense and do stupid things in their back bedrooms. What does speak to me is when I listen to the SEC and all of a sudden they get bullish on it, banks get bullish on it, investment funds get bullish on it, pension funds, and the list goes on, get interested in it. Suddenly I look at it differently. Now tomorrow, I believe it's tomorrow when you're watching this video, it'll be today, whatever. Coinbase joined the S&P 500, the 500 best businesses in the world. And I've made a prediction, and I'm 100% certain of this, that shocked everybody. And it's why I created my own hashtag of standing on the moon. It replaces that stupid phrase, to the moon, going to the moon. Who wants to go to the moon and float around? Standing on the moon means something. Going to the moon, what does that even mean? When do you get there? What does it mean? Standing on the moon means you've arrived and you are in a firm footholding of something with some value. So I created yesterday the hashtag standing on the moon. Now, why is that important and why did I do that? Because Coinbase is just the beginning of XRP and crypto and Bitcoin and everything else. Because now the bankers are talking a language I understand, and now everybody wants a piece of it. So let me make the prediction, and then I'll bring you the CEO of Coinbase live on the show. Are you ready? Okay. This is what I think is going to happen. In fact, I'm going to put it on record. I don't think it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. Just had an update. Apparently, Coinbase is on Monday. I've just had an update. It's not tomorrow. It's Monday. Makes no odds. Thank you, Sensei, for the update. I'm sure some troll will love to catch me out on that. But yeah, Monday, thank you. This is what I think is going to happen. I know is going to happen. The S&P constantly regulates the best businesses in the world. It has a high criteria, a high benchmark, and if you're rubbish, you're out. Discover is out. In comes Coinbase, the first crypto exchange to be on the S&P 500. Now think of this for a moment. The S&P 500 is made up of the 500 best businesses in the world, and they're constantly regulated, rubbish thrown out, new ones come in. Think of this for a moment. What makes a business successful? And what qualifies it to be on the S&P? It must have many criteria, including it must be profitable, it must be well funded, it must be well managed and run and abide by regulations and rules and standards. These are things that could have never been said about crypto until now. And that's why most people, and don't say everybody loves crypto, because they don't. You might, your favorite Reddit room, your favorite YouTuber with 1 million subscribers, but that's nothing. Nothing at all compared to the billions of people that inhabit planet Earth and one day will inhabit Mars. And then who knows after that? They're looking for something a lot better. They don't go to YouTube for that nonsense. They go to people that understand money, that actually have money, that don't trade in and out every time it goes up a couple of cents. Who the hell wants to follow the buffoons that do that? I certainly don't. You certainly don't. So now Coinbase enters the S&P 500, and I would expect Ripple will follow at some point. Now, what makes a company successful, like I just said, are all the things I just mentioned: profitability, management, and so on and so forth. So what makes Apple the number one at the top of the S&P? Well, the pure form of the S&P 500, which is what I own, is based upon all the standards I've got, and it's listed in allocation by market cap. That's how they allocate the percentage. So when you put $100 in the S&P, about $7 of it goes to Apple, about $6 of it goes to Microsoft, and it goes down the list all the way down to a couple of cents for something at the bottom of the list. Used to be Discover. They're gone. Coinbase replaced it. So as a company grows and makes more money, it moves up the rank. Now, what happens, for a moment, if Coinbase and Ripple make it to the top of the S&P? The Mag 7 becomes something else. It has to include the words Coinbase and Ripple. Now, is that ridiculous? Is that ridiculous that Coinbase could replace Ripple? Could Coinbase and Ripple replace Apple at the top? Yeah. Of course they can. Oh, I hear you saying, no, they can't. Of course they can't. Those that know nothing about crypto will say that's impossible. They can't do that. Well, they can, because they're now on the S&P and they regulate the same way as Apple does. Except Coinbase and Ripple will make a ton more money. Why? Look at Swift, look at the money system, look at the way money works, look at the way money is used and created, and you will soon discover, if you are into crypto, that in fact, this is the reason why you bought crypto in the first place, that it can be used. Not that it can be traded like a Binky Bonk or a fart coin or Pepe the Frog. Those of you that bother with that stuff, you've missed the whole point and principle. And quite frankly, you deserve to lose your money. Because if you walk into a casino and gamble, you know the house always wins. So don't be surprised when the house wins. I like to say, own the casino, don't play the casino. I own the casino, and I made the declaration that I will own more crypto than most of you combined. And you laughed at me and went, what a load of ridiculous. You don't even own any crypto. Yes, I do. Yes, I do now. From Monday, I'll own every crypto that is owned or that is distributed on the exchange of Coinbase. But this will rise up in the ranks, and eventually, it'll be up there with Apple, Nvidia, and Microsoft. Why wouldn't it be? Because money is the biggest business in the world. But until now, it hasn't been a business. We've not got the dollar on the S&P 500, have we? Well, we do now. We have the new form of money, the new form of payment on the S&P. And up it goes. Now, whoever puts this on their exchange first, whoever does this right first, the US economy will own the world. I own the S&P 500. I'll be $1 million by the end of the decade, more like 2 million. And by the end of the decade, with Coinbase and Ripple at the top of the S&P 500, I will be at a couple of million. And if I am at a couple of million, and I'm right that Coinbase and Ripple will be at the top of the S&P 500, why wouldn't they be? What's more profitable than money itself? Where's the expense? Where's the inefficiency in money making money as opposed to Apple producing iPhones? You got to spend some money making the stuff. What is more profitable? I argue nothing at all. Coinbase, Ripple at the top will make me a 2 times millionaire. And then how much of crypto will I actually own at that point? Well, if I'm right and Ripple is around the 6% or the 7% like Apple is, and it could be more, let's say it's 10, I could own $200,000 of XRP. How many of you here can say you own $200,000 of XRP? Not a lot of you. That's what I would own if all my predictions come together. Now, that's my opinion. I'm not a crypto channel. I don't wear a backward baseball cap, but I do talk to Bank of America. I do talk to CEOs, and now live on the show, we've got the CEO from Coinbase. Sensei just sent me this. I have not heard it. I have no idea what he's going to say. I've just been sent this. Let's hear him speak, and let's see if he confirms anything that I've just said. Maybe he'll make me look an idiot. I don't know. Let's see what the CEO of Coinbase has to say on this very subject. Here we go.
We have to really start with your big moment, which is that S&P 500 inclusion. You have been focusing here on expanding your world in financial services. Discover was taken out. You're added in. What does it say about the moment?
Yeah, well, it's a huge moment for crypto to now be in the S&P 500 with Coinbase entering, and it means that crypto is here to stay. People are going to have crypto exposure in all their 401ks, and it points a little bit to, I think, where the future of financial services is going. Crypto is a technology to update the financial system. We actually launched our own index, Coin 50, which is the top 50 crypto assets, market cap weighted. And someday we hope people might actually, feel the same way about getting in the S&P 500 as they do of getting in the Coin 50 index. So it's a great moment.
We were talking a little earlier about eToro's IPO. You see other entrants like that come into public market.
Did you hear that? He didn't once mention the price of Fartcoin or Pepe the Frog or how you can trade crypto. He talked about pensions, institutions, banks. Now we're talking my language. I love it. And I'm right. If I'm right, if you believe like me that this will be at the top of the S&P 500 and this economy, the United States S&P 500 is going, forget going to the moon, standing on the moon, put standing on the moon, my own created hashtag in the chat right now. And when you see this video come out, comment with that hashtag. If you, like me, think Coinbase, XRP, Ripple is going to go to the top of the S&P 500, put in the chat, standing on the moon. Forget, go to the moon. Bloody ridiculous. Standing on the moon. Let's see it if you believe that.
Markets, wondering what it means for you, because eToro is not going to be the only one in terms of entering that crypto versus stocks world. Do you think Coinbase will ever get into traditional way equity trading, or at least tokenized equity trading in a much larger way?
Yeah, well, we think that all asset classes are being tokenized. Crypto, again, it's this technology to update the financial system. That means every company, every fintech, every bank, every payment company, even non-financial service companies are going to be integrating crypto payments. It's kind of like when the internet came out, and first you had .com startups, and then every Fortune 500 company uses the internet. So we think it's going to be very similar. And actually, this is a good thing for Coinbase, because many of these companies, when they come into crypto, they're going to buy our products and services. We actually power crypto custody, trading, payments, especially with stablecoins, which is a big new emerging activity for lots of companies already. And so we're excited about that happening. Now, you specifically asked about tokenized equities. We're excited about those, and we want to lean into the crypto native solutions, not trade traditional securities in the way that many other companies do. We think there's unique advantages to having this come on chain, and so we're excited to explore that. We've met with, for instance, the SEC task force on this recently, and there seems to be a general willingness to have these kind of asset classes come on chain now.
Let's stay posted on that front. Of course, there's a big question on how soon that could happen. Now, Brian, stablecoins, because part of the discussion that is looming large in Washington is, of course, that stablecoin bill. Now, I recall a trip I made down to Coinbase's New York offices. I spoke with one of your deputies, Jesse Pollock, and he showed me the way that people are transacting on Coinbase via stablecoin, often at no fee. I'm really wondering from your perspective, to the extent that when you see a bill passed, how much that could set off stablecoin payments, peer-to-peer payments, in a way that's cheaper than the financial industry does it today.
Yeah, well, you're right. Stablecoin adoption, like USDC, it has grown enormously, and a lot of it's happening on Base, which is a layer 2 solution that Coinbase helped create. So it's a very exciting moment where we're seeing stablecoin adoption. Now, we also need to make sure that this technology gets built here in the U.S., and that's what this stablecoin bill is really about. It's a historic moment. There's a lot of interest from senators on both sides of the aisle that I've met with today to get this legislation done, and that's what we're here to try and help do. Now, the details matter, and there's bits of language that are being negotiated right up into the last minute, but we're here to try to underscore the urgency of this, and the 52 million Americans who've used crypto really want to see this legislation get passed so that this industry can get built here onshore in America.
Well, you say words matter. What are the words now that you would want to see changed as it hits the final finish line?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple examples for you. One is that, DeFi is something that is separate from financial services. We don't think it should be included in the AML provisions. AML provisions make a lot of sense applied to the centralized intermediaries like exchanges and custodians, things that Coinbase's core business. But DeFi should be excluded from that, and recent language updates we've seen seem to indicate that that's the path they're going on. One other area for you to think about is there are some prohibitions on paying interest and yield in some of the drafts or some of the language that we were made aware of. We think that this is, banks should have to compete on a level playing field with crypto. We think that paying interest and yield to customers is good. It's a consumer benefit. We actually think that American consumers should be able to benefit from that. And any company, whether you're a bank or crypto company, should be able to compete on that front. Now, there's a lot of debate back and forth about that, but these are examples of the kinds of issues that are coming down to the line. We want to make sure that perfect is not the enemy of good enough, and getting this legislation passed is the highest priority.
There you go. And I am not a crypto expert or a crypto channel. I'm an investor. I'm here to entertain, educate, and provide information to support my members. Sensei, who lives and breathes crypto and XRP, just said that. And I didn't see this before. He just sent it to me live on the show. He just said the S&P will feel like owning the coin 50, which is just crypto coins, just like Martyn just said. So today, crypto grew up. If you are in XRP right now and you are selling it, you have no place in this asset at all. And this is why the CFO of Coinbase, who should be your hero, said at the crypto summit, we'll release it, dump it, sell it whenever we want. They are telling you, we do not care about the trading of this. So wise up, folks. Get out of the bro room and the baseball cap stupid YouTubers channel and focus on being an investor like Brad Garlinghouse, like a bank. Hopefully, the way I invest. I'm looking for value, looking for concept, projects that can change everything. And that will return a profit and be something I can own, not trade. Own the business, don't trade the business. Because you can trade doesn't mean you should trade. The only guaranteed winner is the brokerage. I'm now going to leave you with this because I wanted this to be a video by itself. So I'm going to end. I made this during a live stream. What I'm going to do is end this broadcast and send you over to the extra channel. You can continue conversation. I'm going to replay what you've missed, today's shows, and you can have a live conversation with real investors without any bots and trolls because there's a membership gateway of 99 cents and that's all it takes to keep them out. There is the link in the chat. I'm going to end this on strict instructions from my doctor to do less, not to sit here 12 hours a day. I don't need to do that anymore. The channel is growing. We had more viewers yesterday than Meet Kevin with 2 million. We have a higher viewing ratio of ladies than any other crypto channel. We're not a crypto channel, but we talk about XRP. 13.8% ladies. The average on a crypto channel is like 1%. We're here to do something unique. We're here to help people, and we're here to bring the facts about XRP to the world. Now, I made this video live. I'm about to end it for my live audience and send you all to the extra channel. If you want this news to get out about XRP, Ripple, Coinbase, what's happening, the real money, the real future, the 0 day, I'll explain more about that shortly when this video comes out in about half an hour, because I'll upload it as its own video, even though you've already watched it. Promise to me you will all watch it again. You'll watch it, share it all the way through. Honestly, it doesn't bother me either way. I own the S&P. I'll own all of crypto. I'll own XRP. I'll own Ripple. I'll get to $1 million. I'll get to 100,000 subscribers, whether you do or you don't. But if you do, and you watch it, and you share it, and you like it, and you put it on all the social media, this will go out to more people, so you'll make more money quicker. Because if this gets 100,000 views, 100,000, I would make about $1,000 after YouTube commission, after tax. I might make $500 for my time. That is not worth my time. However, you can make an infinite amount of money. So there you go. I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for taking part. Isn't it quite funny and ironic that someone who's not even a crypto channel actually has come up with a hashtag that's going to be more popular than go to the moon? Because we are going to stand on the moon. Click above my head for all the links down below in the description. I love you all. Thanks for all the good wishes and messages. I'll see you back tomorrow morning after Sensei's breakfast show. But under strict doctor's instructions, I'm going to be taking it a little bit easier from now on. No 12-hour streams anymore. Don't need to, right? We've already built the channel. Above my head, down below in the description, over here and over here. When you see this come out in an hour or so, please watch it, share it. I'll see you back in the morning. Good luck to all investors. Stop wasting your time on silly YouTube channels. Join us here with the Lucas Aids. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.